If you want to be able to use a wide variety of screwdriver bits with your Swiss Army knife, NikGyver already told us how to do it, but I'm going to add a couple little things to that today. The basic idea is that getting the right socket will have a hexagon on the other side, and these two things together will allow you to put the socket onto the cap lifter of your Swiss Army knife. I'm going to be talking about exactly which sockets and some brands work on which Swiss Army knife cap lifters, and also giving you a few other ideas on how to carry these sockets with you. I highly recommend going to look at NikGyver's 2 videos that really kind of led up to me adding a couple little things with this video. These are old videos and they are fantastic ideas which are extremely practical and extremely thrifty as well. So I highly recommend that. Links are in the description box to those below. Now, Zoe Finn is the person who got me started on this. She is a viewer and commenter who noticed that there is an adapter that NikGyver had in a video but he didn't name, and she found it for me. It is magnetic, the bit magnets in, it magnets onto the inline Phillips, and everything stays together really well. It's part of this, the NikTool multi-tool here, called the Black Knight, I think. There's a link to it in the comments section or the description box below. This is an unusual multi-tool with the giant scissors, and it also has pliers. In addition, it has a Phillips head, which must be physically similar to the inline Phillips on the Victorinox, because that's where this adapter is meant to go. And it's a little bit fussier than it is on the Victorinox. I would actually say it doesn't hold as well. This adapter seems to be more intended for the inline Phillips on the Victorinox than for the tool that it actually sells with. There is one other place you can use it though, and that is on the Victorinox Swiss tool. It goes right on here. However, it really does not magnet onto this Phillips driver really at all. And in fact, you can see it falls right off there. It does work there, but unlike on the Swiss Champ or other inline Phillips, it doesn't stay on. Note that it doesn't work with a back layer Phillips at all. But what if you don't have a inline Phillips, but what you do have is a cap lifter? Well, here is one option. Now, this is a 1/4 inch driver from a 1/4 inch ratchet socket set. This thing does not ratchet. None of these items here ratchet, by the way, although some of them are sold under the name ratchet. Anyway, the bit will fit in here. It doesn't retain at all, and the adapter, I'm going to call it, does not retain onto the cap lifter screwdriver either, but it does work. It's a tiny bit wobbly. But there's a better solution, and this is actually from a company called Army JY, I think, or something along those lines. But there are different companies that make these. Basically, this is a retaining device. It's got a little ball and a spring tensioner around the outside, which will keep the bit in place. Now, it does not have any magnets, so it will not stay on the end of the Phillips, or excuse me, of the flathead driver there. So it's not as good as NikGyver's invention that he demonstrated in the video I've linked below. However, this does work on 91, 85, and 84 millimeter knives, including the ALOX series here. It fits right on the end, and it works just fine on each of these. Here's a Cadet. It works fine here, honestly. It seats right on there on all of these different ones. I did have a little bit of a harder time getting it to seat on an older model 84 millimeter Swiss Army knife. It did work, but it just didn't seat as well as it does on the newer ones. But what if you have a 93 millimeter ALOX one? Here's my harvester. That doesn't fit at all. You need to move up a whole size to a 3/8 inch socket to 1/4 inch hex adapter, I'll call it in this case. And this is for a socket set, doesn't ratchet. Sometimes it is sold under the name ratchet, and in fact, this one I'm showing you here is sold under that name. If you have a Ranger Grip series, it's a larger knife, but that does not fit. You've got to go back down with that Ranger Grip series. Here on the 111 millimeter Work Champ, it fits fine, and it fits fine on the 93, but it does not fit. So what fits on the Ranger Grip is the same as what fits on the 91 millimeter here. Okay, here we've got the 1/4 inch socket to the 1/4 inch hex. And that fits, it's okay. It doesn't fit great, but it fits okay if you need to do that. And then the 3/8 inch for both the 111 and 93 millimeter models. Now let's move on to looking back at the Swiss tool. The 1/4 inch fits fine. And the 1/4 inch is the choice for that one. Now, if you really want a driver, traditionally what you would do is just get a cyber tool. It comes with all of these bits. The bits are all double-sided, and that is a very simple option for you. Now, how do you keep all this with you? Well, there's a hole in the middle of these socket adapters, not the next tool one, which is magnetic, but the non-magnetic ones, which are very inexpensive. So here I'm using this kind of as a lanyard bead. This is a figure 8 knot. It's like an overhand knot, but don't go through the middle like you would. Keep going around and then go through the middle of your circle from the back. And that will make a figure 8 appearance there, if you can kind of see that. It actually looks really nice, I think, but I showed it to a friend and he thought it was a little too difficult to untie, or that over time it might get stuck that way. So he recommended a quick release overhand knot where you just bring through a bite instead of bringing through the whole end of it there. It looks okay. It's not quite as cute with the tassel sort of pointing up the wrong direction, but it's easy to untie. Another option is to use a safety pin to attach the adapter to the keyring. What if you're going to use the next tool adapter, though it has no hole? You'll have to come up with another solution, and here's one from Night Eyes. This is the Cinch-A-Lot Mini, and I've got it here holding the adapter and here with a bit both in the adapter and added to the Cinch-A-Lot. Let me show you how I put that on. So here it is in real life. I've got a silicone-looking, I guess, hair tie. It's one of these really cheapy hair ties that I got a whole bunch for $1.25. Here I'm adding another bit. I'm going to take the hair tie and wrap it around and around and around here, and I think we'll speed this up. It goes on pretty easily, and I'm going to stop before this is completely finished because it just takes a long time, but it still sticks pretty well. This material is all pretty sticky. It's easy to remove this and put it back, but the stickiness does mean a little hair tends to stick to it, or pet fur, or fuzzies from your pocket, or whatever. All right, thinking about those hair ties, here's another option. Because they're like $500 for $1.25 or something, 3 hair ties can be used as the lanyard, and then just take another hair tie and wrap it around the middle, the same as we did with the Night Eyes item. The Night Eyes item was $6. These are $500 for $1.25, so it's definitely cheaper. Here is another way to use these hair ties to the same effect. It definitely does not look as good, but it accomplishes the same thing. I really do prefer that. If you want a canister, these are available in some places. I can't find a link to this one anymore. Not sure where I got it, but a bit plus the adapter fit in there. And this is a way to just hold the bit. This item was about, I think, $6 or $7 for 6 of these on a locking, non-climbing carabiner. It works okay. I can't say it retains it super well, but it's all right at best. It works. If you are not a believer in that next tool magnetic adapter, I used it to screw deck screws into some dimensional lumber. The video is coming up in a second if you're interested. Also, do not forget that any socket of an appropriate size can be used in this way. This is a 3/8 inch with a deeper socket hole there, so this fits in very nicely and actually gives you a really solid connection. Thank you so much for joining me. Here's the video. I'm holding everything together much more than is necessary because the magnet really has most of that. Let's speed this up. Thank you again to Zoe Finn for pointing out these products to me. Thank you especially NikGyver for developing all of this and inventing this way of doing things. And thank you so much to everybody who's been watching, commenting, subscribing. It's fantastic to interact with you. Let's check out that bit.